Joining me now is Nikolaos Cacos. He is the president and CEO of Blue Sky Uranium. You said it's okay to call you Nikos. So how are you, sir? Good to see you.
I'm doing very well, Mark. It's a pleasure to be here on your program.
Now, for those who may not be that familiar with your Amarillo Grande project in Argentina, you're sitting on the biggest uranium resource in the country. So can you give us a brief overview, please?
For sure. What we have in Argentina, in southern Argentina, and very mining-friendly province, in fact, nuclear-friendly province of Rio Negro, is we have not just a deposit, our Ivana deposit, which is just around 23 million pounds of uranium, about 11.5 million pounds of vanadium. What we've discovered here, the Amarillo Grande Project, is an enormous new district. It's a district that has the potential to make multiple discoveries there. And what's really intriguing about Amarillo Grande is the geological similarities between what we're seeing in Argentina and our deposit and some of those in Kazakhstan. And that's important because what this means is that the potential now for our project in Argentina is to rank amongst the largest uranium deposits in the world, and it also has the potential to exhibit some of the lowest operating costs. So it's a very exciting, opportunity here for us, and that really is the opportunity with Blue Sky Uranium. It's a similarity with Kazakhstan and the great potential to rank amongst the largest and lowest cost operating deposits for uranium in the world.
And can you flesh out that a little bit for us, Nico, in terms of the geology, how it is similar to Kazakhstan and the benefits of what you hope eventually to be a fairly shallow drilling?
Sure. Well, what's important to understand why I'm highlighting Kazakhstan is because Kazakhstan currently supplies almost half of the world's uranium. And that doesn't happen by accident. It happens because not just because they have a lot of it there, they also are able to extract it with really low cost, some of the lowest costs in the world. But the difference, the similarity is geologically they're similar, but there are some differences in which are notable. The Kazakhstan deposits tend to be buried relatively deep, but they use in situ technology to extract, ISR technology to extract the uranium, and that can have slightly more expensive costs. Our project is actually situated from surface within the first 15 meters in unconsolidated ground. So what this means, when we put together our preliminary economic analysis report, it shows that we potentially could run this like the way you run a gravel quarry. There's no blasting required. There's no anything. It's a very simple process. And it makes it really quite economic. So there's a lot of great potential there for us to find now additional deposits, and if they're all amenable to relatively low cost as we've been able to exhibit with the Ivana deposit, I think we could have a real winner here for Blue Sky Uranium.
Now, your team has identified some drill targets. You're going to be doing some more drilling to get yourself to a pre-feasibility study. So is it possible at this point to give us just a rough timeline of PFS, feasibility study, construction, production, or is it still too early days to be able to do that?
It's relatively early. What we have right now, we've completed a preliminary economic analysis on our current deposit, the Ivana deposit, and that's what I stated earlier, is just under 23 million pounds of uranium, 11.5 million pounds of vanadium. But what we're doing, since that was done 4 years ago, the market for uranium has shifted dramatically, and the costs have adjusted dramatically. In fact, in our case, we believe our costs in Argentina probably have gone down due to inflationary factors there. So we're currently updating our preliminary economic assessment report, which we expect to be out probably right after New Year's, coming up in January 2024. And then afterwards, we've worked on this whole region, this whole district, the Amarillo Grande district, over the last 15 years or so, and we've been able to identify a number of potential targets here that could potentially bear additional discoveries. And we've been drilling away at these, and there's more that we're looking to drill in the upcoming quarters here. And as soon as that gets completed, at that point, we're going to begin to shift into completing a pre-feasibility study. And that's a study that has a lot more accuracy than preliminary economic assessment. It takes about 10 months to complete, but it's at the end of that study at which we make a production decision. So that's really a key milestone that will potentially be coming up in the next year. And beyond that, going forward into production, I think that part is probably a little bit too early rather to discuss at this point.
Now, Nico, you hinted at your experience in Argentina, which goes back years, as does the Grosso Group. So can you give us a sense of how that experience and knowledge and the relationships you've built over the years in that country differentiates Blue Sky Uranium from some of the peers?
For sure. Our experience there and our being a Grosso Group there, a recognized management team operating in Argentina for the last 30 years, actually in 1993, so it makes 30 years exactly to the year, gives us an excellent competitive advantage. As we started doing work in early 1993, we were recognizing a tremendous mining opportunity that exists in Argentina. We've been recognized as being a true pioneer for helping to develop the mining industry in Argentina. Joe Grosso, the founder and chairman of the company here, he's been inducted into Argentina's Mining Hall of Fame, and it opens up a number of doors for us, not just within the industry, but also at provincial government levels, federal government, and municipal governments. And we're recognized in Argentina as having an honest approach to doing business and being successful at it. So. And in the last 30 years, we've had a lot of success there. We've made 4 major discoveries there, and Amarillo Grande is one that's going to continue to hopefully yield more, add more discoveries to our batting average.
On the political front, there's a new president in Argentina. This gentleman is controversial, to say the least, but essentially considered pro-business. So do you think is pronounced Milei? Is it Javier Milei?
Yes, it is.
Right. Okay. So do you think that he and his policies will affect your company one way or the other, or will it be business as usual? What's your early assessment?
Well, he is. First of all, I'd like to say that we've been around in Argentina for the last 3 decades, and we've seen governments from left, from right, populist and pro-business, always, constantly changing. But we've always, what I have noticed is there's always been a constant in that no matter which political stripe a government may wear, their support for mining industry has always been steadfast, because they recognize how underdeveloped this industry is in Argentina, especially when you compare it vis-a-vis with a highly developed mining industry in Chile. And they also recognize that, its successful development rather, can represent a lot of potential tax dollars and revenues for the government coffers, which they sorely need. So now we have Javier Milei, who's recently won the election by a landslide in Argentina. He's slated to take over in the 10th of December. A lot of the things that he's said and done, removing barriers to imports, removing barriers for foreign exchange, removing all kinds of barriers for business, that's always a positive, and we always welcome that. So I think it'll be very positive for us, and I think it perhaps more importantly, it may shift the way international investors have been approaching investment decisions in Argentina.
Nico, you mentioned that your costs have actually come down a little bit. You've also said that the company keeps its dollars outside of the country. We know that there is what appears to be not just inflation, but hyperinflation in Argentina. So how does that impact your business, and is a weaker peso actually ultimately better for you?
Well, with inflation at over 140% right now in Argentina, yes, we do keep our funds in Canada, and the way we send it down there is on a monthly cash call basis, on an as-needed basis, so they're used up quickly. That way they're not devalued. And what we find is that our dollar every month seems to go a longer way, because with Argentine peso falling in value, we're able to purchase the same services for less. So it is advantageous for us. The only thing we do is we adjust the wages of our local workers there, because it's just the right thing to do. But beyond that, I think it's been, from an economic point of view and a business point of view, it has been advantageous for us.
Lastly, Nico, in terms of catalysts for the company and maybe a re-rating on the stock, once you come out with a new resource estimate and get to a pre-feasibility study and maybe make a discovery, wouldn't that be nice? Do you think the market's going to just continually and start to appreciate the story more?
For sure. I think our first catalyst here is upcoming, a new updated PEA on our Ivana project. I think that will highlight what the value of that project is, which, like you stated earlier, is the largest and most advanced in Argentina right now. I think looking at it with current economic terms, I think that will be an attention grabber. Second of all, our ongoing exploration drilling, discovery of a new deposit there, I think that's going to be a very significant catalyst for the company, which could attract new investors. And of course, completing a pre-feasibility study and making hopefully being in a position to make a decision to move forward to production. That's really the stage at which, especially institutional investors will look at very favorably. And I think that could very quickly change the valuation of the company.
And of course, it helps that uranium and nuclear are so hot right now. So that's a nice tailwind too. Thanks a lot for your time today, Nico. Great to get an update and more information on the company, and we'll talk to you soon.
Great. Thank you very much, Mark.
Okay, Nikolaos Cacos, he is the president and CEO at Blue Sky Uranium. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.